As a wrestling fan, you know, this old school wrestling fan, it was really great to see Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart bury the hatchet, you know, so to speak. It was really great to see them shake hands, and then when Shawn kind of turned around and kind of looked like he could give him another super kick for old time's sake, he went and he gave him a hug. And I gotta admit, call me a bitch, but I had a tear in my eye because I was a huge Shawn Michaels, huge Bret Hart fan back in the 90s, as I'm sure a lot of you out there in the YouTube universe were. You know, they were two of the best wrestlers of the 1990s, and you know, the boyhood dream, the excellence of execution, I love seeing that. I thought it was great. As far as the Vince McMahon Bret Hart confrontation is concerned, once again, I had a tear in my eye. I thought it was great to see them, you know, shake hands. It was great to hear Vince McMahon say the thing about best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. My only problem with that segment was, apparently Vince kicked him in the nads. I mean, it looked like he kicked him in the stomach. I know Bret can't really do a whole lot right now. It doesn't look like he could do a whole lot in the ring, but I think there should have been more that they could have done to Bret. Maybe have someone come out and beat up on Bret. Something a little more sinister and a little more sadistic to really drive home and start that feud between Vince and Bret. Because I personally I don't think they sold it well enough. And honestly, when you look at what was going on on TNA at the same moment, actually I guess TNA had just ended a couple minutes earlier, Angle and AJ would probably go over Bret and Vince. Some of you might disagree with that, considering the historical, you know, moment. Oh, Bret and Vince in the same ring. But honestly, there's just, you know, they should have had something, you know, more monumental happen there. We're talking about Montreal. We're talking about that huge, you know, moment when, you know, Vince screwed Bret out of the title for real this time. So it would have been cool to see, you know, maybe have Randy come out and kick him in the head. You know, maybe have, you know, Vince like beat up on him, you know, and bloody him up after it all, just to really drive it home. Maybe they're saving that for a couple weeks from now. We're a long way from WrestleMania, and from what I hear, that's supposed to happen at Mania. But that's all I thought about that. But it was really great to see Bret Hart back in the ring. He's never going to be the excellence of execution again, but, you know, he'll always be in my heart, you know, the best there is and the best there was. So, yeah.
Well, you know something, Mean Gene? We came back to TNA, and we had a bunch of old guys step in the ring, and then we talked, and nothing came out.
Okay, we had to have Eric Bischoff come down to the ring to help them communicate. I, as a wrestling fan, never cared for these, you know, has-beens. Can I use the word has-beens? I liked Scott Hall back in '94. I liked 1-2-3 Kid back in '93. I liked Hulk Hogan back in '88. Okay, when I was 2. All right. Okay, I needed a bottle back then. They got in the ring. They standed in front of each other. They really had nothing prepared. As Scott Hall and Walt, whatever the hell his name is, you know, always do. They had really nothing prepared. And you could tell. Hogan's kind of standing there like, we're not doing that again, brother. Did you meet before you got out there? Did you have any preparation? And then Eazy-E, Eric Bischoff, comes down, and the whole message is, it's not going to be like it was in the old days. Everyone's going to have to work their way up. And I respect that. I respect that a lot. But I shouldn't have to have Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan come in the middle of the ring and say that to me, an old school wrestling fan, and say that to you wrestling fans out there that are still so passionate about it and watch it so much. So when I come back and watch TNA and I see this happening, I go, this shouldn't have to be said. You know, this, and of all people, you guys aren't the ones who should be out there saying it. And some of you might be like, okay, this is cool. Here are guys who are sort of blamed for guys getting held back, all the politicking. Here are these guys in the ring that we're saying, oh, we don't want that crap to happen again. And they come out and they kind of give their guarantee, well, that's not going to happen again. Well, guess what? That happens all the time in the wrestling business. It happens in a lot of businesses. People get held back and other people and pushed up and pushed up. So, now that you've guaranteed it, we're going to be sitting here waiting, watching, and saying, okay, what's going to happen? Is AJ going to lose a title? Is AJ and Daniels going to just be pushed down? Where's Samoa Joe going to go? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Who's going to be carrying the belt around? TNA had a lot of guys come in that night. You had Jeff Hardy. We saw a lot of faces from the past going back so much as 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You know, the friggin' Nasty Boys come on there for crying out loud. So, and what's my response to that? That's cool for about 15 seconds. And then they get in the ring. What can they do? Next to nothing, because they're broken down. I'm not saying I don't respect these guys. I know this is what they do. But nobody wants to see them get in the ring, and, you know, it's like watching the wrestler. Seriously. It's tragic, because these guys, they don't know what else to do. They go back to TNA, and Dixie Dixel, whatever the hell her name is, Hulk Hogan, Jeff Jarrett say, we're going to bring back all these guys that we've seen before, and we're going to put them in the ring, and they're going to have matches. Hey, I love Jeff Hardy. I think it's great. And Jeff Hardy is still making splashes. He's going to go into TNA. He might be a title contender this time. Last time he was in TNA, I don't think he won the title. I'm not sure he was so part of that main event scene. This time he'll probably get a title run, hopefully, if Hulk doesn't have something to say about it. So, TNA, as usual, not a fan. Angle and AJ Styles, I got nothing but respect. I loved it. It looked like a great match, and you know, I have nothing but respect for AJ. AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, and I'll even go so far as to say Kurt Angle. That's TNA, you guys know, and the younger guys who I'm not so aware of because I'm not a huge wrestling fan anymore. You guys are. You know that's the real TNA. So don't let Hulk Hogan come in and Easy-E Eric Bischoff and Scott put my wild turkey down Hall come in and you know, corrupt that company because, baby, it just doesn't work for me. So I wish all the TNA fans the best of luck. Keep on having that passion. Keep on being big professional wrestling fans.